Hey guys, Devin Gridley, All Father Fitness, and today I'm going to be talking about a pretty big subject in the fitness industry for the last while actually, and it's whether or not volume is killing your gains and whether volume and intensity are, or which one is more related to muscle growth and which one is more important and such. And quite a few YouTubers made videos on this. The biggest fitness YouTuber made a video on it first, Jeff Cavalier. He says volume is killing your gains. Then we had Jeff Nippard make a response video to that video saying volume can kill your gains at a certain point, but he still opts for higher volume because he does the full body stuff. And then we had Greg Doucette do a response on both videos, and he agreed more with Jeff Cavalier. So I'm just going to give my 10 cents on it, explain what volume and intensity is, break it down, and at the end I have a little part that all these YouTubers seem to miss, and someone in the comment section commented, no one responded, I responded, and it's kind of why I'm making this video. So yeah, let's get right into it. First thing off is what is volume and what is intensity. Volume is how many sets you have in a workout or per week, depending on how you just want to look at it. And I'll give you both examples when I get into that. And intensity is how hard you're working during those sets, what your RPE is, how far or close to failure you go, and how much weight you are using, a percentage of your max. So how I'm going to go and look at this is kind of like a little graph. If you're thinking about, first off, the optimal rep range or set range for the highest amount of muscle you can gain per week is 10 to 20 sets. It's in that range. Jeff Nippard posted a little study on it, and I believe that. It seems very accurate and logical that it'd be between 10 to 20 sets. I would go per week for the higher group, and if you're going more for strength, go for the lower group, and that's usually just a rule of thumb. But let's look at it like a graph. So you look at it like levels. You have a volume level of 10 per workout, and then you have a intensity level of 10, okay? And these are both equal. They're both at the same level right now. And if you up your volume, the problem is, let's say you're at a volume of 15 per workout now. Now you have to lower your intensity. So now you're at a volume of 15 and an intensity of 5. You have to split your intensity in half to make up for those extra sets of volume. Now the problem with that is you need intensity to get better. It's how progressive overload works. Intensity, in my opinion, is more important than volume, and I'm just going to get that out of the way so it's not confusing to you. I think intensity is way more important than volume because if you train to failure for just 5 sets with, 85% of your max, you're going to get a way better workout than doing not close to failure, like let's say an RPE of 5 with like 50% of your max for like 10 sets. I just believe that you're going to get just way more muscle breakdown, which is more muscle growth in the long run, as well as having more protein synthesis, because if you have lower intensity, you have lower volume, which means you're in that stable range of 10 to 20 per week, which is what you want. You want that 10 to 20. So if you break a workout down, it's dependent upon what your split is, which I just made a video about yesterday, I believe, about push-pull legs, bro splits, upper lowers, and full body, and then I went into intensity and volume in it, and I'll link it up right here. But back into it, if you have a workout, let's say it's a push-pull legs, you hit muscles 2 times a week, and you want to have a stable intensity relationship with those workouts, you'll have what we call the equal. That's what I was doing, is the equal. And if you have a full body, you're going to have to drop your intensity and higher your volume. And this is something that Jeff Nippard actually does. He trains full body every single day for 5 days straight, but his intensity is just so low that he probably doesn't seem to get as many gains. Now, if you do a full body and do it 3 times a week and you still have the same intensity level, it could have the same exact effects as a push-pull legs. The thing is, you still are just lowering your intensity because of the fact that you're not going to the gym as much. And if you're going to the gym more, you're obviously, as long as you're not overdoing it, you're going to get more protein synthesis. You're going to have more time to train, which is more muscle growth in the long run, right? So that's just a logical statement. So if you have the full body, you're going 3 times a week. Now you're having 3 times a week, you're having protein synthesis instead of just 2 for every muscle group. Now 3 is a lot, but like I said, your intensity is dropped significantly because of that, because you're not going as much. Now if you were able to keep your intensity at the same level, let's say it's at a level 10, this is your volume at level 10, and you raise your volume to 15, and you kept your intensity at this level, you would start to overtrain. So having these, you have to drop your intensity to have higher volume, which I've just explained is not good. You want to have a decent level of intensity to have any sort of good workout, whether it be high volume, moderate volume, or even low volume. You need that intensity to get any adaptation in the muscle. So I really don't think I need to explain it too much. They explained it very well and easy. They actually agreed. I don't know why people say they didn't agree. They completely agreed on the fact that if you go to a certain extent of volume, that you're losing your gains, and within the 10 to 20 rep or set range per week, you're getting maximum muscle, and anything past that is either taking your muscle away or just not doing anything at all. And Jeff Nippard covered that, saying if you had one workout in a day and you had 15 sets for a muscle group, at around half of those 15 sets, your form is going to start being bad. You're going to have to lower the weight, and your intensity is going to be crap. So instead of having those 15 sets in one day, split the 15 sets into 3 days, 5 sets per day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You're not going to decline, so all those sets are going to be at 100%. And you're going to get not only 3 times the protein synthesis instead of just 1 time per week. You're also going to get super quality, high intensity workouts with the exact same amount of volume. So we actually completely agreed with Jeff Cavalier. So a lot of people are confused on what the whole drama, I guess, was about, but they agreed. Greg Doucette also agreed. Everyone likes intensity more than volume. I think it's a pretty good rule of thumb that the harder you train, the better you're going to be. That's just how it works. The problem is people take this the wrong way, and they hear, oh, volume's the next best thing, then they just up the volume, but they don't realize that every time they up the volume, your intensity drops every single time. Now, if you're able to keep your intensity and up the volume, then it would be great, except for the fact that eventually, down the line, you're going to overtrain because you'll be doing too much volume at such a high intensity level. Now, all of this, they both agreed, but how does this apply to you specifically? You yourself have to figure out how you train, not only with your splits, but how fast you recover and how many sets you have to do for you to actually feel like you're getting a good workout. Now, I recover extremely fast, so I have higher sets. I do maximum of 10 sets. Let's take for example my chest. I do 10 sets of chest per day, and I hit chest 2 times a week, so that's 20. That's the absolute maximum I'll ever go. But what I do is, for this reason, there's a person that commented. We're going to get into this now. His name was Kane Marja. I can't pronounce your last name, but he asked whether or not if you train chest for 10 sets and then you do an indirect movement like a dip for however many sets, is that causing you to go over the limit of the volume capacity that you can have? And how you figure this out. And I gave him a pretty good answer, but I told him I'd make a video, which is why this is here, and this is his little section. But how you figure this out is you want to split your exercises into direct and indirect compound movements, and only count the compound movements, then use the isolations later for specific muscles. So if you do for example, a direct chest compound movement would be the bench press, because it hits the chest the most. If you say how much it hits the chest, I would say it would hit the chest around 50%, while hit your triceps maybe 30%, and then it hits your shoulders 20%. I can't give accurate representation of what those numbers would actually be. I don't think anybody would or could, but just for example, that's what that would be. Now, it is obviously directly chest because it hits the most chest. And if you go and do a dip is not a direct chest activated movement. It's an indirect chest activated movement. It's more for your triceps, and then it hits your chest just very small. Like, it doesn't hit it nearly as much as a direct movement would. So you have to split all your workouts or all your exercises into indirect and direct movements. So if you're doing chest, and let's go back to example, I said I do 10 per workout. If I do 10 maximum, then if I go and do a dip, I would be able to do a set of dips. But you have to, if you really want to get nitty and gritty like that, you can do the math. And for example, I think it was an accurate representation when I said 50% chest, 30% triceps, 20% shoulders. I feel like that's pretty accurate. It's obviously not going to be perfect, but if you do the math on that, you take how much workload and how much sets is on that, and then combine it with the workload and sets on a dip, which would be, let's say it hits triceps 50% and it hits your chest 40% and it hits your shoulders 10% or whatever. Then you could do a little equation and figure that out. I feel like that's way too much work and nobody wants to do that. So what you do is, instead of just doing 10 sets of bench press, do 8 sets of bench press, which is what I do on average. I would say the only times I go to 10 is when I'm having a really good day and I just want to do some extra work. So I stay at 8 per workout. So I do 16 sets overall per week. Now, we have to get into reps too. What is the best rep range to build muscle? It's a pretty good rule of thumb, and it's been like a kind of gym bro myth. It's not really a myth. It is scientifically proven to be within the 6 to 12 rep range. I go for a little bit higher. I go 8 to 12. Keep it within those 8 to 10 reps. I don't really like to go way higher unless I'm doing in the very beginning of a workout, because I do lighter weight, then I move up instead of heavier weight moving down. So within the 6 to 12, that's the optimal amount of reps you want to do per set, no matter what you. So if you're doing a bench press and you have a higher weight, you want to do the lower amount of that, so 6 reps and up. And if you have a lower weight, you want to go towards the higher version, obviously. And then we also have to talk about RPE, how close to failure should you go. And that is what your intensity is, as long as with what the weight is. So the higher the weight, that means your intensity is up. So does that mean you should go to failure? No, because your intensity is already up because you're using higher weight. You want to lower it, so you want to go to an RPE of less than max, obviously less than 10. So I would say around 8. The problem with that is if you actually try to calculate RPE of 8, you're going to do way less reps than you actually want to. And Jeff Nippert actually covered that, and as did Greg Doucette. You can't accurately tell whether you're going to failure or not, because pushing your body and your brain that far takes a lot of effort, and not many people are able to do it without significant amounts of training. Man, I'm talking really fast. Okay. So if you're going to RPE of 10, true RPE of 10, absolute failure, you couldn't do it if someone had a gun to your head, then your intensity is at the absolute max, and you shouldn't be using the highest weight you can possibly use, because then your intensity would be going way beyond max, and you don't want that. That would have adverse effects on your recovery unless you had specific, not requirements, but I guess genetics to recover faster, such as I do. So you have to find a balance. Now, no matter what I said in this video about the rep ranges, the volume, the intensity, blah, 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 it all requires on you. Like, I can spew as much knowledge, so can the two Jeffs and Greg, spew as much knowledge as they possibly want. They can throw all the studies up that they want. It all comes down to you specifically. How you train, how you want to train, how you recover, and it even comes down to what you eat. If you recover faster eating this, or everything is linked like that, and it all comes down to you. It doesn't matter about us, doesn't matter about studies. They just help you create an accurate program, an accurate diet, and keep you within a healthy range and try to help you reach your goals. But it's still based upon you and what you do yourself. I can't tell you what's best for you. Only you can figure out what's best for you based on the knowledge that I give you. That's why there's ranges. That's why it's 10 to 20 sets per week, not just 20. It's a range, and it varies from person to person, as well as intensity levels. Some people just don't have the ability to go to RPE of 10, while some people can do it easily. Some people aren't comfortable with going even close to failure, so they stay lower, but they have to up the volume quite a bit. So you have to find your range and your median and just what your level is and find them and be balanced with it. And that's really all I got. The last thing I'm going to say is if you want to be a beast, you have to train like a beast. You have to have high intensity. I obviously favor intensity. I said that in the beginning of the video. Train like a beast, be a beast. And that's really all I got. This is all I got for the video. I hope it explained things really well. If you appreciated the video and it helped you understand things, consider leaving a sub, maybe liking the video, commenting if you have a question, or if you want to put more knowledge out there or anything like that. And I'll see you in the next one.